What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to After the Recording Ends with Nathan and Chris as your hosts. Me and Chris both here are podcasts and slash YouTubers slash other things. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you all enjoyed today's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a podcast because this is the first one going on my channel. This is a podcast where me and Chris both sit down and talk about the ins and the outs of YouTube and what's going on. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this type of stuff, please leave a like, subscribe. We definitely go into detailed, unheard stories. First podcast is on Chris's channel. The schedule is Tuesday, every Tuesday, but it would only be on my channel every other Tuesday. We switch back and forth between our channels, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, if y'all understand. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll get straight on into today's podcast. Alrighty, how you been doing this week, Chris?
I'm good. I'm trying to find my notes so I remember what this podcast is about.
Supposed to have that stuff professionally pulled up, man.
Well, you know, after episode 6, we'll be professional.
Yeah. Alrighty, and while Chris grabs his notes, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce today's podcastees, aka the people who's gonna be joining us today. So first up, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Happy Farm.
Hey, what's going on?
And then beside him, we also have Holy Knight, aka Brian, person who works for me.
Hello.
How y'all doing today, boys?
I'm doing pretty good.
Oh, that's good. to hear.
Tired.
Ain't no reason you should be tired. We've only recorded 1.5 videos this week.
I got a job outside of this.
Don't matter.
Yeah, it's late night. We already recorded a family RP episode, and now we're working on the podcast.
Half a family RP. Half.
That's true.
Let's
It
go and
was
just
half.
say the truth. Maybe in 2 hours we may have been recording there, but that was still only half the video.
That's true.
But still fun to record.
Oh yeah, we definitely love recording. So alrighty, let's go ahead and get directly on into this day.
I'm done staring at your face. I'm gonna do some farming.
Yeah, let's get farmers. Alright, so I guess we'll go ahead and just get it straight on into it. So I want to start this one off with a new segment where basically we talk about what's going on in the industries of what we use, like things that are changing in Discord, because there's a big update coming here pretty soon in Discord, and I really want to hear people's opinion on this and things that are happening like the farming simulator and stuff like that. I want to know, have y'all heard about the new name changing update coming out?
Yeah.
I have. Yeah, you told me about that the other day.
Yeah, now y'all have had time to sit on it. What is y'all's opinion on that update that's coming out?
I really don't like it because anyone can steal your Discord name and basically become you. And it's really scary because they can basically take your YouTube identity on Discord, from what I've heard.
I mean, there's no way around it unless you get access to it first.
Right.
I know I should
It's
be getting
basically-
access to it pretty soon.
It's basically first come, first serve.
Yeah, pretty much it.
There's no priority list or anything. Like you can't pay.
The older the account is, the better.
That's good. I mean, there's some good to that. Like, what was the previous rules for names? Were you allowed to duplicate a name, and that's where those numbers came from? Because I'm not really
Yeah.
aware. Okay, so like I have socks way up, blah blah blah, some numbers. So someone else could have that with different numbers today.
Exactly. That's exactly
Yeah.
what it could be.
So that's what they're fixing that, but the process of fixing that, there's a risk of losing your handle.
Yep.
Is that, well, you can and can't. So they're looking at it as like a positive of, oh, you may be losing the way where it's like this, where the people who call, you know what I mean, like the way that people add you is this, but you can use your display name. So basically they're changing it to where you have a display name and a username, kind of like YouTube, like Twitch and everything like that. Not Twitch.
Yeah.
Would it be Twitch?
Oh,
Twitter. Kind of like the way
Twitter,
like
yeah,
Twitter
yeah.
does, everything like that, where they have it set up to where you have a display name and the other. I just don't really agree with the whole @ symbol thing. I think that they should have asked the community first, but that's also a situation where I don't think they could have asked the community first, because they got in a situation where, like, you know, right now if you went to go make an account named Tommy, that you couldn't make an account named Tommy.
Why not?
Because there's 999 people who have that account. Just
Wow.
like, same, if I'm not mistaken, James is one also.
So even if your name is Tommy, you can't just make it your name.
No, because there's 909. There's not 900.
9,000, yeah.
9,999.
That's insane.
Yeah, no, like there's a lot of them. So like that was like their solution to it, so you can just add infinite amount of numbers. But my thing is that's a decent way to fix it. But you mean, like, if you should search to see who all has like YouTube, everything that link their name, give them the priority first. Like the person I work with, Grant, he won't have access to his name, the squad, for a long time.
Well, so
Why
where
not?
do you draw the line though? Like, because you
Yeah.
got YouTube, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have TikTok, and everyone can, like, it's not, I have all of those on the different platforms, but not everyone does. So it's like, well, if there's somebody arguing over a name and you have it on YouTube, but they have it on Facebook or they have it on Instagram, who wins at that point? It's just a tough topic. I don't know how you do it fair for everyone.
I would
Yeah.
just say they should have just left it alone, honestly. I mean, if they're still gonna have like an @ deal, just go ahead and leave it. That's just, you're putting more work into something that you don't need to put work in.
Well, I don't know.
That's a good.
I don't know. Have y'all noticed that we do already have the display names already available?
We do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
the display names were like released, and because they've already started releasing the other stuff. the new update, because the first people who get it is of course Discord people who work for Discord,
Right.
and then like Discord partner. And if you're not one of those, they really don't care.
Yep.
So I mean, that was just something interesting that we were looking at. But
Well, it's like I don't know the squad or Grant very well at all. He has a Discord, right?
no, he does not.
He does not. Okay, but I imagine that most YouTubers his size have Discords, and they're most likely partners too.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah,
I mean,
most of them are.
that might be part of the thought process. Is well, like we're still little fries or little YouTubers. All of us on here compared to other
Yeah.
people. So like our opinion on this and our viewpoint might be a little different because we don't have the same.
Well, see, like even
Skin
Grant
in the
has
game?
the same. Well, my thing is like even I was talking to Grant about this the other day. Grant somewhat has the same opinion as I do about this, as they really shouldn't have pushed this out there onto the community. There was a Reddit post I want to say about this whole situation that has been very bad backlash to Discord, but with there being I think almost 10 million users, with like only like a couple 100,000 or so saying something against it. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing:
Right.
is it's not like they've said anything outside of like certain media platforms to really announce that it's coming. So not a whole lot of people know that situation is coming.
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
like, has
know
it been
that until you
confirmed?
told me.
It's been confirmed, but not on. They haven't made an announcement on Discord itself, which I think that's something that they should have let the people themselves decide if that was something else coming. To let the whole Discord themselves vote. They give them like they do a 7-day period vote where people can vote. You know what I mean? Because in 7 days, put like a vote up on their screen, let them choose. I think that would have been a better way of doing it.
Yeah, but even
it's-
if they did that, people are still gonna get mad either way if their side doesn't win. So I mean, like they're just bypassing that part of it, or they're trying to.
Exactly, but here's the thing: is like the majority of the people when they first find out that that's coming, they get really mad.
Yeah.
But and like here's the thing: is like who honestly, other than like very few people, and the only reason I found out about this is because I was watching YouTube, and it's like I'll give a shout out to this YouTuber. Like his name is like No Text to Speech, and I watch his stuff to find out what's currently going on Discord, and like find out about different scams that are going on Discord, just so like I'm always aware and I can protect my server. My Discord server, aka the Rhino Pastor, joins today.
Nice
but
little
you-
plug there.
I mean, you gotta
Great
plug
plug.
every now. You gotta plug every now. But you know what I mean, like to protect people and everything like that. That's what you have to do sometimes. That's the reason I found out about it.
Yeah,
And-
I'd like to be part of a Q&A session with some of the decision makers at Discord, because like my full-time job working for a B2B, a business-to-business software company, sometimes you don't let your customers make decisions like that, and it's a company decision for a direction you're going. It's there's a lot to it more than just what the community thinks, because sometimes it doesn't matter.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's what kind of situation it is. But I mean, you do have to think about it. The consumers are already like the majority of consumers right now that's on Discord are already trying to looking for a different alternative to Discord at this.
Are there any really out there right now though?
No, but there are some that I've heard about and that I'm watching closely. I'm not gonna say any names right now, that I'm watching closely because I can see them kind of taking over from Discord.
See, I look at this as similar to the Twitch versus YouTube conversation. Is YouTube can gain steam in live streams, but they're not going to take over. And Discord
Right.
has been around for a while, and just like anything, like we're definitely not going to go down this path in this podcast. But anything like political, the loudest people are usually the ones complaining, and they're usually the minority. So it is interesting to me to think about it that way. Is it really the majority of the users that are going to be mad about this, or is it going to be a small minority? And once this is over and done and rolled out, will we even forget it happened?
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to depend on like if certain people lose like their things. And my thing is my big thing is like there's definitely gonna be people out there that's gonna steal like big YouTubers' names, and those YouTubers are gonna want them back. So those people are gonna hold them ransom for like thousands of dollars. That's gonna be the interesting part to see, because we all know there's people out there that use Discord that would like pay to have their username back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
they would, yeah.
the identity theft of it, of scamming people saying, "Hey, I'm Mr. Beast on Discord," but you're really not. Give me your credit card information and I'll put you in a video. That's
Yeah.
the stuff that I'd be concerned about happening.
Yeah.
That's definitely something that could happen because they'll have that display name information. Yeah.
Right.
There's gonna be it's gonna be.
But couldn't
definitely
you
interesting.
like I'll have to do this later. Maybe I could right now, alt tab, but if I like my display name in your Discord is different than my username. Can people see my username in your Discord?
But they have to
If
specifically.
they click on your profile,
If they click on my profile, they can.
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's your thing. Let's just all be honest here. But if you're in someone's DMs and it has that display name as somebody's DM, and you can change your display name in people's DMs, like say like Mr. Beast or something like that. Some people are not going to know about that update really happening and know what it means and think, oh, this is the real Mr. Beast.
Right.
You know what I mean? And those are going to be the people who's going to fall for that.
Yep.
But let's just all be honest here. Like, I don't see none of us ever falling for a scam like that.
No.
I mean, I think I've seen maybe like a scam like that work like twice on people I've known.
Well, it's the younger audience that has mom and dad's credit card and stuff like that. That is really the worrisome group.
Well, exactly. Like, I mean, but I mean, not even them. I mean, you know that there are some people that's on Discord that are 50, 60-year-old.
Yes.
Those groups I'm kind of worried about too. Those older ones, I'm kind of, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sitting here saying that they're going to 100% mess up, but I mean, I am kind of worried about those older people as well. Because I mean, as time goes on, of course, more and more older people are on Discord because I mean, they're getting old.
Well, and we're getting to the point where 50 to 60 is getting closer and closer to people that grew up with computers. So some of that narrative is going to change in the next few years.
Right.
But I mean, you still have like, I mean, I'll say this, like even like my mother, she kind of grew up somewhat with computers, but she did not at all. How do I say? She grew up with the computers, but she didn't know about scams or because like I feel like almost every day she calls me, asks me if such and such is a scam because she's got emails or like certain emails. She's like, oh, I'm worried that so and so like, you know what I mean, like you know those emails that say like you owe like this amount of money for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get those text messages pretty much almost regularly. Like, why did you spend so much? I'm like, I didn't spend money first off, and why would it be on your email? You know what I mean? Like, why? If I'm gonna spend money, why would it be on her email and her banking account when I have my own stuff? Like, yes, I do have a banking account, a card hooked up. I mean, I do have a account hooked up to her account, a shared account with me and her. That's just because we do share certain bills, like our insurance bill and stuff like that, so that we can both like put together. Because I mean, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I think the concern is the inviting fraud versus avoiding it. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if there's an official announcement from Discord, if there hasn't been already, and reading through that and seeing how their PR team plays it.
I mean, Discord don't try to play it to their benefit. They're gonna try to play it as like a positive instead of a negative.
Do we know when this update is rolling out?
It's already started.
Okay.
They've already started. They just got to give certain. They give like each group a certain time period to get it out. Like get.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like they should put an announcement out like months ago on this, then rather than just doing it without anybody knowing.
Well, here's the thing: is the announcement's been out. Technically, it's just you have to go to their social medias to find.
Oh, okay. So it's not on the Discord app, but it's on their social media.
Is that the announcement's on their social, which I think is the wrong.
Yeah, they need to have one in the app so that everyone on the app knows about it.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. There's no one. That's the part where this update that makes me mad the most. Is not a whole lot of people know about it. Not a whole lot of people really. The people who do know about it, they at least know what to expect, but they don't really know what measure to expect.
Right.
Because I'm sorry, who honestly here, other than me, probably like honestly follows Discord like social media?
I don't.
I found Discord's blog on it, and I was kind of skimming through it, so I was not paying attention to that question. I apologize.
You're good. Like I was saying, like who all here honestly follows like Discord social media?
I honestly don't.
I don't.
I didn't know I had to until now. If they're posting announcements only on their social medias, I might have to start doing that then.
There's one.
That's where
they have a blog, and I'm reading through it right now, or scanning through it right now, and it was posted on May 3rd, so earlier this month, and it says it's rolling out this month.
Okay.
But it's hard to read and pay attention. I'm definitely going to check out that entire blog post later.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely a situation we'll be in. But there ain't no more reason than that. We'll kind of figure that out when time comes back around to figuring that out. Which are good ones.
Okay.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go ahead and get into personally my favorite section, the fan of fans segment, aka
the fan segment. Last episode we asked people to send in questions for us to answer, and we're going to do that here. And I'm going to put my tractor on a worker so I can pull the questions. So this question came in from Jake DUP77. I apologize for how to say your name there. Great video and podcast. Question for y'all. So I'm a newer content creator. What tools or advice do you have to help with story development and video ideation?
I'll go first.
So a couple questions there. Newer content creator, advice on tools to use, or what tools do you use creating content, or what advice do you have for creating stories and developing stories?
So tools we use for creating content, of course, like editing software. I mean, I think all my editors use Adobe. Positive, maybe one of them doesn't. I don't know. So I mean, that's of course, what we use for that editing software. But if you're not talking about editing software, like just random tools, sound effects are something that we've been experimenting more and more as time goes on. At least my group has, would be epidemic sound, so that'd give you more of your sound effects and stuff like that. But other than that, I really don't know the whole lot. Maybe Brian can say more other than Farming Simulator, which is our big thing.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to spoil it too much, but there's ways you can try to get sound effects. If you don't feel comfortable, honestly, with the sound effect that you put in there, I wouldn't go for it then, because it all depends on how you feel about it.
I mean, it's all about, at the end of the day, it's all about the way you perceive it and the way you do it.
Happy, what about you?
Some of the tools I think are necessary are like a Photoshop for sure. You need some way to edit your thumbnails. A regular FS screenshot is not going to cut it. You need to edit it, brighten it up, do whatever you need to do to get views. So I personally use Adobe Photoshop, and I use Adobe Premiere Pro for editing.
And if anybody can tell you the differences, like your views before you started writing your stuff up, they changed drastically, didn't they?
Yeah, I started out from getting like maybe 100, 200 views to getting like 400 or 500 views per video back then when I was using the regular screenshots versus the edited screenshot with Photoshop.
Yeah, that's kind of what we use. I mean, you of course can use stuff like Canva also to doing the photo, the thumbnail stuff. Actually, Canva makes it a little bit easier to do thumbnail, but it's all about the way you want to do it. Really.
All right, I'll take a stab at this as well. I started off by using DaVinci Resolve because it's free. It's a pretty good tool, but I had some issues with my computer in DaVinci Resolve, but I moved over to Premiere Pro probably about a year ago now, and I'm using the full Adobe suite for editing and for thumbnail creation, as well as Canva a little bit. As far as other tools that I use, I try my best to come up with a title myself that matches the video. And what I've been doing lately, other than popping or throwing ideas at the rest of the group that we have, is also I am using Chat GPT now, and I'm putting my title in there in quotes and saying, and then I put improve this YouTube title, and it'll come up with an idea. And if I don't like it, I say suggest more, and then it'll give me 10 different ideas that match that title. And it's pretty cool. And then you go by a combination of it, and I just kind of go down the top to the bottom, and whichever one that I think fits my video the best and that I would physically click on myself after reading is what I've been picking. And I've noticed a change similar to what Happy mentioned. I had the exact same change that Happy mentioned with brightening the thumbnails, and then took it a step further when I started doing that with the titles as well.
That's an interesting way to do it. I never thought about using Chat GTP to generate titles. I might have to start trying that myself.
Well,
yeah, I know some people have been generating scripts and doing like entire videos and entire YouTube channels with it. I will never go that far because it is AI still, and it's not perfect.
Right.
But using it to fine tune things, I think, is an actual great way to use it.
Did y'all have y'all ever looked, before we continue on with that question, did y'all ever look and see like the top, like the people who've made entire YouTube channels with just AI, who have the AI read the script, write the script, edit the video, make the thumbnail, make the title, everything, and all they do is post it?
Yep.
Have you seen how much money those people are making off of that?
Some of them are making a lot, and I think a lot of them are focused on shorts, right?
Some are like they're focused on shorts, stuff like that. Like, I mean, I'll say this: I use an AI for editing shorts right now. I mean, I'm not going. No offense, I'm not going to pay somebody to make some YouTube shorts when I can. You know what I mean? When you can get kind of the similar effects with just, you know what I mean? You can get the similar effect.
Yeah.
But, no, those people, majority of those people who do that, making really good money off that. And I was watching that the other day. It's like, how do they do that? And not, you know what I mean? Like, how is this almost not against YouTube terms of service?
Right.
Like, that's my next. Like, my question is like, because you would think that would be against YouTube terms of service with it being a bot that's doing it, but technically, you look at it like this, technically not.
Yeah, I can go back and forth on that. It's technically a bot, but it's technically not, because you're putting in the keywords for it to generate the stuff. So technically, you're doing it, but
well, I mean, this is the way they do it. I mean, I've sat down and watched the videos on this because I came about 5 minutes from making one of those and just seeing if I could do it to see if that would make any extra revenue or something like that to put towards the main channel. Because I would eventually like to do some stupid stuff eventually. It's just I got to get to that point where we're making the revenue for that. But I was looking at it and just the way they do it, like they put in there, give me 10 story ideas, okay, and they'll go through and they'll tell AI to write a script for each and every story.
So I have a perspective on this, like being a software developer as my my career path that I went down, and I've been doing that for 15 years now. I see it, I look at it a little differently, because when I write software, I don't do it much anymore, but when I did earlier in my career, 99% of that software were libraries someone else wrote that I'm using. So there was still part that I had to drive, and I had to learn the syntax and learn how to actually get it to function correctly for the business case that I was writing software for. But 99% of it was open source or written by someone else years ago, or, you know, they're still maintained. So it's similar. Like Happy said, you're putting in the keywords and you're coming up with at least the base idea sometimes. I think sometimes they're just coming up with the niche and that's it, like just the topic of the channel. So do I see it as cheating? I personally do, to a point, but also it's not easy to pull all of those together. It's still work. At some point you can probably completely automate it, but I'd be pretty interested to watch some more of those videos and see how they're actually pulling them together, instead of just a high level, I use this tool, I use this tool, I use this tool. How about we go into a deep dive and how it actually works? I haven't seen those yet, personally.
Yeah, let's do like a behind the scenes type of thing.
Right,
See everything they have to do.
I mean, there's definitely those. That's why I didn't do it, because I mean, there's that. Because I've seen, like, there was one I watched the other day where the guy legitimately went in ChatGPT. He said generate like 15 niches. The AI generated 15 niches. Okay, he chose one that he liked. After he chose the niche, he said create a title, a name for a YouTube channel for this niche. It generated that niche. Then he went to like some AI logo maker, and he got the AI to make the logo. Everything that took him maybe 3 hours to set up the entire channel, and then from there he just went and put in there like give me 15 say like stories. It was like writing like history stories was what the niche was. He put in there, give me 15 history stories. Well, he took those 15 history stories. He said, give me 15. He would put it in there. He'd say, give me a script for this story that's unique, and it would give it to him. And then he would take it over to an AI. He would take it over to an AI where the AI would speak it out loud, and then take it to a thumbnail, take a thumbnail maker, make the thumbnail, get like something to make the thumbnail real fast.
So with history, did they talk about any fact checking?
No, he didn't fact check them.
Yeah, because that's where long term it might bite you.
Yeah, he used the AI for everything. Like he would sit there and just watch. Like he trusted the AI 100% to make the channel, and he said he maybe spent 2 hours a day on the entire channel.
So some of the stuff that I've seen released like recently from Adobe, they just did a text editing feature where you pull in it just released last week actually. You pull in your clip and then you can go to the text view, text to edit I think is what it's called, and it'll automatically detect all of the words in your video, and then it'll allow you to actually edit down the dead space really quickly. So that's a step of AI going into a real software editing tool, but you're still a human having to execute. But it's just like every baby step of this artificial intelligence improves the life of editors and creators until it replaces them. And that's the part that's like, how far away are we from like my career as a software developer being gone? Hopefully it's not in my lifetime, but it could be.
So I had a question about that. So how far in the future do you think it'll be before AI designs like, let's say mods for like Farming Simulator or something? Will it be possible?
Dude, I hope that's tomorrow. No offense. Could you imagine typing into an AI generator give like a detailed description of what you want the mod to be, and it like a few hours later pops you out the fucking perfect. It pops you out the perfect mod in a few hours. Like that would be such an amazing tool to have.
Yeah.
Is there 3D AI art generators?
I believe so.
I think there is, yeah.
That's like if you give it a picture of a tractor and it can automatically make the model for you to like that. That's where I don't know if it'll completely be automated, but it would definitely go from like a month process. I don't know how long it would take to make a tractor. Let's just pretend it's a month, down to like hours.
Yeah.
Oh, so okay, I can say this from working with who I work with. So Buck made a model here recently, and he said it took him 2 months to make the model.
Yeah, so I can see that getting down to like 3 hours with AI.
So that you know what I mean, like being like that. But I mean, you also have the situation now to where if like someone wanted to make a mod and didn't want to make the 3D model, I mean, you got like different like websites you can just go buy the model off for like $1, possibly even free.
Yep, to get you started for sure.
Yeah,
yep.
There's definitely those outcasts and those things like. Definitely that's how most people do it right now, is if they don't want to make the model, they'll look up, see if it's out there. Like there's a Peterbilt model, like nose model, that I really want to buy and find somebody to put that in game for me, because I really want a good Peterbilt that's like a front end, no nose on it, you know what I mean?
listeners, he's talking to you.
Yep. I'll say this.
So there is
this-
go ahead.
I will say this to everybody out there. Anybody that knows somebody that can actually sit down and do modding for me, there's definitely room inside of my budget for a a part-time modder onto my team. And if you're interested, please DM Blake on my Discord channel, on my Discord server. I'd appreciate it. All right, continue.
Oh yeah, there's a second half to that question that I personally think is interesting. Is what advice do you have to help with story development?
Story development, okay. So it depends on what series you're talking about. It's different series, different story development.
Let's take this into pieces. Solo YouTuber, I'm gonna assume solo YouTuber. How do you develop stories on your own to make them not so? Let's just put the scenario out there. We want to build a story so that it's not just I'm sitting down and I'm playing Farming Simulator, I'm building a farm, I'm trying to make money, I'm doing a survival challenge. That's super cliche. That's done all the time. I've done it. Almost everyone I know has done that. But we want to take it a step further as content creators. We want to build a story into it, but we're by ourselves. So we don't have the advantage that we have right now where we're building this group and we bounce ideas off of each other. Let's take that aspect for this question for the viewers.
So we'll take it as that aspect. So first off, you sit down and say, what do you enjoy? What do you enjoy making? Do you enjoy sitting down making a type of farming content? Do you sit down and enjoy making a truck driving content? Like, what is your passions? Like, what is something, if you had the money for right now, what would be you would be doing right now in this very moment? Like, take it as that. And that's not from me directly.
Like real life?
Like real life to a degree. Like, if you had the money to a degree, you have to look at it like this. This was how I kind of got started with the family RP thing, to a degree. If you had the money right now, what would you be doing? Like, and I think part of you actually, Chris, I think Chris, you actually may have took that advice a little bit when you did the whiskey RP.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
Like,
Yeah.
that whiskey RP. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so challenged myself to do an RP. Excuse me. I challenged myself to do an RP series solo instead of doing just let's plays, and I like brainstormed like why did I even start playing this game? So about a year and a half ago, we bought property in Michigan, and there's plenty of land to farm. I don't have any equipment right now. I don't have funds to buy equipment, but I want to eventually. And so what would my dream be? I love whiskey. I do. I like whiskey. I like trying random types, and honestly, I still come back to Jack Daniel's being my favorite because it's good. So that's what I did. Like, one of the first things I looked for when I started playing Farming Simulator was mods for that. And unfortunately, Farming Simulator is not going to allow us to have alcohol mods on Mod Hub. So we have to go to the, non-approved, non-giants used, or I'm planting and you're going to skip days when I'm not done planting?
Yes, you did. You were.
Was it? Sorry.
You were done.
That was just that little spot. Okay, let me kill this. So I got that. I found a mod for making alcohol that has alcohol productions. I'm customizing them for mine, but it was definitely something in real life that I would want to do. So why not roleplay, a passion or dream of yours in real life?
Exactly. That's kind of what Buck actually told me the other day when me and him was talking. Well, actually, when we first started talking, he told me, you want to do a perfect RP series? He said, sit down and what would you do in real life? Every series that Buck does currently on his channel is a series that he would do, is what he would want to be doing in real life if he had the money or if he was able to.
Happy, have you, you've done some RP at this point?
Yeah.
What is your thought on the story process and development of ideas?
So I'm not good at story development whatsoever. I'm still getting into the hang of that.
Can I say Happy's story development process?
Sure, go for it.
Jump in a VC with Nate and say, all right, Nate, what you doing today?
Yeah, there you go.
That's this man's entire story development right there. Nate, what we doing today? I think, no, you had that one series.
Which one?
You have the, what's it called? 2020s, or not, yeah, 20, not 20, 2000s.
2000s.
But even that's still, what's it called, sped up right now.
Yeah, it's still time lapses. So I don't really have much into storytelling, but to get better at storytelling, you should probably watch other YouTubers that do storytelling or watch TV shows because they do storytelling really well, and you can probably pick up stuff from watching it.
Well, so video ideation is the word that they use as well. So your videos, a lot of them are on building pretty things, pretty farms, and making them look nice. How do you come up with those ideas?
So for most of my farm stuff, my farm builds and stuff, I spend a good 10-15 minutes researching real life farms and taking stuff from each different farm and kind of combining it together. And I edit them all together in a software to get a plan down, and then I go and build it in the game. So that's how I get all that stuff.
So, I mean, okay, this will be out after the No Way Home RP. Is that what you did with the No Way Home RP stuff?
Yes, it is.
Because I got to give that to you, man. With that No Way Home RP stuff, I am excited to do that tomorrow. Like, tomorrow is our first day recording No Way Home RP, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm excited for people to see it.
I am. I feel like we are going. I think this is the most prepared for a series we'll kind of be. Like, this is the most prepared we can be for a series with RP or something in mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least episode 1.
Yeah, for episode 1 at least, yeah.
No, we kind of have the series kind of mapped out.
We do, yeah.
To a degree. I mean, we have it mapped out. Maybe not fully, but it's kind of. I mean, it all depends on what you kind of mapped out, though. So it's definitely gonna be interesting. Sorry about that. Happy I had to make that statement real fast.
No, you're good.
Let's.
What was the other half of that question?
Is story development. Did you? But that's the we're done with that question unless anybody else wanted to add to the story development.
I mean, unless Bri wants to, but I don't think he's paying any attention to anything we're doing. Which I don't think he's even in the podcast anymore at this point.
That's because y'all are answering.
Hey, we have cows.
Yeah, I bought a couple cows.
Thank you.
Bri, can you fix your mic and answer your part on that? Because you do role playing. How you think?
Yeah, you actually. So Bri is a very important part of Family RP, and there's been some. Like, we might go into it later, trying to look at these other questions and see if it'll lead into it. But when we sit down and start a Family RP episode, we talk about the outline of that episode, and it actually does. I'm gonna stop because there is a question that is gonna answer this. But Bri is very important in some of the, I don't want to say twists, but kind of the twists that happen when we're recording, and he'll just throw things out there that kind of change where we're going. And I personally am like, how do you come up with some of this stuff? Are you just doing this to kind of piss off Nate sometimes, or piss me off sometimes, and it's just because it is RP and it's fun, or what goes on in your head when that happens? Okay, so same question. How do you come up with those crazy ideas in Family RP?
Well, you can ask Nate this. I've pretty much done this the entire time I've known him. Anything I can do to bug him, I usually do. But with the family roleplay stuff, with other people actually being there and us just trying to have fun, honestly, I just throw stuff out there and see if it works. And if it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Exactly.
Honestly, I just wait for it to either be thrown out or for someone to actually get a good laugh out of it. Plus, Nate always makes fun of Bug, try to make him mad, so why not try to make Nate mad in the Family RP?
I was about to say, Buck, if you're watching, Bri's my version of me for you, okay? Like, Bri's my version, okay?
I got you, Bug, don't worry.
But no, yeah, you're definitely right there. But I will say this, because this is just something I need to make sure everybody does know, is Bri's not the only one that does come up with the ideas, everyone. It is the entire group effort. We do sit down for the majority, and we all have ideas. Chris has what he does on his channel, by the way. If y'all haven't checked out Chris's perspective of the videos, he does completely different stuff than I do. He doesn't just upload the same footage I post 90% of the time. Now, he did have a situation where he deleted his footage the other day, but we don't talk about that. But even then, he did a really good job on changing the video.
The way I view it is, if we were a TV show, we could put our videos together and make like a 30-minute episode. So there's like, if you're watching a TV show, there's multiple storylines going on, and sometimes it cuts over to story A to story B, and unfortunately, or fortunately, because we both can, have our own channels, you don't get to see all of that in one video, and that's intentional, so that we can drive viewers to each other's channels.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, Chris is the big, like, me and Chris, Bri, I mean, we all work very hard on coming up with storyline, because there's been times I've sat there and said, we need to do this coming up video. And everyone was like, this ain't never going to work. And
I think as far as a series and story development is, knowing the ending before you write the middle is important. So we have an ending. We had a start. The start already happened when I joined, but we had a start, and then we're basically filling the middle with everything that needs to happen to get to the ending.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, like we did during the recording today, though, we came up with something also to add towards them, which people, stay tuned, watch both of their channels, and hey, even Happy or might have
Yep.
something on his channel. Y'all got to tune in to all their channels.
Exactly. With actually, this is something that not a whole lot. This will actually come out. Now, this part will come out before the other does.
This will, yes.
Happy is actually now joining the actual family crew, everything like that. And at the end of the day, for the people who do watch the family RP, all I can say is it's coming closer than to an end than I would say. Like, yeah, definitely stay tuned. It's gonna be the next few videos that come out. Like the next videos that come out are going to be interesting to kind of stay part of the storyline and to see how we develop the story even further.
Yep, because there's been people asking where mom's at. Well, y'all just got to stay tuned. That's it.
Exactly.
Okay, so question 2 is how long do you spend recording videos, and if you edit your own videos, how long does it take?
So, okay, I can say this from both perspectives because my editors do tell me how long it takes to edit a video because I hear them complain about it all the time.
I don't know about that, but okay.
Oh, I've heard it from all three. At least I've heard times from all three. Maybe not the complaining part, but I've heard the times from all three. So recording video, 3 hours max. So usually 1 to 3 hours is what we spend recording a video. If it's by myself and I know exactly what I'm gonna do, it'd be an hour. If it's with these guys, then it's a family role play, and we have no clue what we're about to do going into the episode. We're looking at 3 hours. Am I right?
So are we talking about actual recording time, or are we including the time where you mess around?
Actual recording time.
Actual
seven.
recording.
Okay. I just wanted to make that clear for the viewer.
Well, okay, here's like, okay, you're talking about there's a difference between like sitting down and, but when you first hit record, that's when I count as a recording. After you first hit record, from then on, that's actually recording.
Well,
Got it.
yeah, and I think for the spirit of the question, adding the prep time is probably important for the viewers.
If we're adding prep time, oh Lord have mercy. See, that's harder.
It depends, because there's days that I can just say from the family roleplay that we prep a day early.
Yeah, we really do shoot to prep as early as possible. Just so, because even if we do like a bunch of prep the day before, we still will get in there and we'll talk for a solid hour and do a little bit extra prep work. Because say like the storyline may change or something like that in the middle of recording, because I mean real life happens.
Yep.
It does.
Real life happens, and not every single time we record certain people can join. So we have to adapt on the moment. We have to adapt our storylines, everything like that. Because being honest, I mean, Deer had something come up in her life where she just wasn't able to join us for a while. And that kind of put us in a situation where we're like, okay, what's the best explanation on why she's gone, and would still give her a way to come back if she ever wanted to come back. And that's the kind of why we gave her the storyline of she's with her mom.
Yep, and I try my best to say, hey, we got a message from mom occasionally, so even though she's not there, her presence is.
Exactly. And I mean, this is something I will say like this is for anybody who thinks I just kicked, because I do know I saw a comment the other day on my own channel that thinks that I kind of just kicked Deer out of the series and kicked her completely away from my channel. Because as most people know by now, Deer is no longer an editor for me. No, that is not what happened at all. Deer stepped down as an editor on her own free will. I actually preferred her. She didn't do that, but she did it on her own free will. And she also decided that she just didn't want to be in Family RP for a little bit because she had family issues in her life going. Let me just go ahead and make that clear to everybody. Deer has not been kicked out of nothing. And she has the right to come back to the Family RP series because she was there at the beginning of it all, and she, as far as I'm concerned, can be there during the last of it all.
Because, I mean, she might be there next week. She might be there a couple weeks from now. We don't know yet.
Exactly. We don't know any information. We just try to keep her up there, which, I mean, she told Bri, I think it was today, was it? That she does, she does still watch the Family RP.
Yep.
She wants to know exactly what we're doing in the Family RP and to kind of see how we're continuing on with the trade line.
That's sweet.
Yeah, she still cares. She still loves each and every one of us and wish she could be here. But, I mean, life happens, life happens.
Exactly, life happens. So that's why we have to be able to adapt so very much because, I mean, when life happens, I mean, what are we going to do? Tell the person, no, you got to be here? I mean...
No, because life is more important than YouTube. Like, family life and personal life is more important than YouTube no matter what.
Exactly. Now, I'll say this. Like, if we have a situation... Because we are ahead on recordings.
Yes.
If we have a situation where the person says, hey, I can't make it today, but I can make it tomorrow, guess what we're doing? We're going to wait that one day.
Like we did this week.
Yeah, I mean, well, Chris got sick, exactly like Chris got sick this
Yep.
week, and we said, you know what, we're gonna wait a couple of days and let him get better. Which I think I don't know about y'all, but mental health wise, it was kind of like a little bit of a relaxing break, a little bit.
It was actually. So you really kind of skirted around the answer though. So how many hours go into prepping for a video and recording it for you?
Okay, you talking about solo or you talking about everybody?
Do solo first, then
yeah.
go.
So solo, an hour. I'll say a solid hour of me sitting down, prepping everything, making sure that everything looks good for the video that's about to happen. About an hour. Well, okay, Hey series, yeah, definitely an hour, minimum.
Happy.
Yeah,
Prep to recording. Go for it.
Mine's a little different because I've been doing time lapses. So my time lapses, I usually record for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. And prep time varies from 15 to 30 minutes, roughly. And then editing time is about 30 minutes to an hour.
Okay. Not
Which
bad.
I do got a question for the viewers. Do y'all like time lapses or do y'all not? That'd be nice to know for the content creators above, so they can let their editors know.
I have opinions on that.
I do too.
I love them, but anyways, my situation, so it depends on the video, really. There's been some of my solo ones that have been 30 minutes to record. There's been some that have been 5 hours. When I did City Skylines, there were some that were weeks of city building that went into one video, and then you get 150 views, and it's a little sad. Editing wise, I put probably half the amount of time of recording into my editing. That's honestly, I cut corners in recording and feel like I could do better pretty much every time, and that's an area that I want to improve if I'm not gonna full-time pay people. I want to get a little bit more patient with myself in the editing process. I feel like I've gotten a good recording process down and gotten it down to like an hour and a half max. Yeah, I think that sums it up for me. Yeah.
Before you met me and I kind of taught you the way, how has it changed since you started doing this type of style?
The amount of time I spend?
Yes.
I spend more time.
So you definitely do spend more time doing it. But do you see it? Did you see it personally, like change the outcome of your channel in a positive or negative perspective?
Obviously positive. I see myself using more time also in a more wisely way, if that makes sense. More time on recording, less time on individual games. So one of the things that I was doing before was I had a save of just a random farming simulator game that I wanted to just play, so that I could just play the game, not worry about content creation, and just enjoy it. Because honestly, I'm still learning certain aspects of it. I'm not doing that at all anymore. I don't have time for that. Definitely positive though.
Hold up. Let's rephrase that real fast, just to know what. Even like when you're bored every night and you just want to sit down and play Farming Simulator, you at least on any save game you could do any type of job you'd want on any save game, right?
I do that now that goes into any of our random series. Like today, I had a little bit of a break in work where I had my lunch break. I was eating my food and I sat down and I cultivated a field in the family RP. And then I planted a field because I had some time, instead of doing that on my own. So that's why I say it's more wisely spent, my time, than it was before, because it actually is helping us prep for episodes. Because there's a lot that we do and we start harvesting and then we cut the end of the video. We literally finish that harvest. It's not like we fake it. We finish the harvest, but we finish it off camera.
No, I think like today's video we recorded today, we recorded for 2 hours. I had 2 hours of recording, and for that 2 hours of recording that we did, we only maybe got like 3 minutes of footage out of that because we just sat down and was doing the actual harvest because we couldn't do nothing else until that harvest got completed. So yeah.
Yep.
That is definitely true. But what's the next question, man?
The next question is, what kind of pre-planning do you guys do for role playing? We've kind of answered this a little bit, and okay. What kind of pre-planning do you guys do as far as role play narratives leading into recording? Because it's like a movie. Who does the scripting, or is it fly by the moment? Fly by moment to moment. On the fly, moment to moment. Sorry, I'm
Both. It's kind of a both situation. So here's the thing: is the majority of us, we have all done GTA 5M. And this is my thing. I'm gonna say this right now. If you've done GTA 5M at some point in your life, and you were really, really, really good at it, you have a really good shot at being good at YouTube. Because that's where 90% of our stuff comes from. Is like knowing how to roleplay came from GTA 5 RP, like knowing that we were able to do it back then. So and we'll also sit down, of course, kind of like what we were talking about earlier, is come up with like a plot of this video. Because each and every video has to have an end plot, like, are we going to sell something? Are we going to buy something new? Or is Chris going to show up with something that's just going to tick me off?
Yeah,
Yep.
pretty much.
I mean, that's just pretty much what we do. Now, don't get me wrong, we do make changes in the middle of the video, but we pretty much do have that moments. Majority of it, though, is kind of fly-by. I mean, but anybody else wants to speak about that can kind of give their opinions.
I mean, yeah, like you said, it's a little bit of script and a little bit of whatever. We plan out what we are going to do, but what are we going to say to lead up to that? That's just whatever we come up with at the moment, so...
Yeah. Now, there is, I will say this out loud, and this is something, I'll personally want to see what a completely scripted thing would, like, almost like a movie would actually do. Like an actual TV series would almost do on YouTube.
I think it would do great. I think depending on the people that pull it off, because if it's completely scripted, it won't feel as authentic. So I feel like the way we come up with the story and develop it, the longer we work together, the better it's going to be. And I think that's still, like, even like you watch like documentaries on TV shows, and aging myself, I've watched a ton on Friends, and a lot of like the jokes that Chandler did were not scripted. It was like, insert Chandler joke here, and it would just turn into something random that was hilarious. And so it's not necessarily scripting every single line of it, because you lose the the authentic like humor that comes out sometimes. But I definitely think plot-wise, having the plot scripted out from episode 1 through 20 or whatever it ends up being definitely is intriguing.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely like, I mean, I think I'll say this. I am definitely working, I think we all have agreed that we're all going to sit down and work on that kind of video just to see how it does. Because I think if it's executed right, it can be done right. Yeah, that's definitely something that you're not gonna hear nowhere else, ladies and gentlemen. But alright, continue.
I think that was all I had on that answer. Pre-planning, well, so for the pre-planning of my solo one, I literally today have sat down and planned out episode 6 of Whiskey RP, and from beginning to end of it, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I know how I'm going to make money that episode. I know what I'm going to add to the farm. I don't necessarily know exactly which equipment I'm going to buy. I don't go that far into planning. I kind of wing that as the episodes come on, or as I'm recording them, but I do plan like my goal, and that will be out before this comes out, so I don't mind talking about it. I'm cutting down a bunch of trees. I'm making a maple syrup production so that I have maple syrup to add into a certain flavor of whiskey. So we'll be making eventually, probably 10 episodes from now, maple whiskey. So I'm starting to do some of that pre-planning of all the different ingredients that I'm going to need for making the custom whiskey that I'm modifying a mod to fit my series. So there's a lot of like pre-planning into that series because of what I'm trying to pull off in the business idea that I have. And it kind of jumps back into the earlier question about story development. Is one of the big things that Nate's hit me with is people like businesses. They like watching you start something from the scratch and become successful or fail. And that's something, some of the pre-planning is there's definitely going to be failures along the way in Whiskey RP. And honestly, those are the hardest things for me to come up with that aren't just like copycats from what I've seen Nate do or other YouTubers of, you know, let me catch a tractor on fire or drive a car into water. So coming up with those mishaps is something I'm struggling with to make them original, but I'm definitely working on that.
Originality, oh my lord. In this industry, I mean, that's the one part I dislike about YouTube is it's hard nowadays to come up with originality. Like, you almost have to take somebody else's idea and put a twist on it. When you did the Whiskey RP stuff, like, came up with that idea, like, I was like, that's an awesome way to do that.
Yeah, and I think it is like, because I took that to heart. Like, I've watched a lot of these other bigger YouTubers. They're doing like, you know, the trucking things, and we talked about earlier what is interesting to me. And I talked about this last podcast where I did the Software Inc. series, where I know a lot about the software industry, so it was easy for me to talk about that. And again, another thing that's I'm passionate about. I don't want to. Passionate's a weird word when you talk about alcohol. It's not necessarily like I'm passionate about it, but it's my go-to drink. So it's definitely something that I'm interested in, and I would love eventually to make my own and brand my own whiskey and try to do that on my own property. So it's definitely part of it too.
So would you be one of those YouTubers that hit 1 million subscribers and instantly make their own alcohol?
I think that'd be cool. I don't know if I would do that, but I think that would be fun. But I wouldn't want, I don't know how all of them do that. I feel like all of them just pay other people to do it for them. I wouldn't want to do it that way. I would want to physically do it myself.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, to a degree. I mean, there's only so much of that you're actually going to want to do. Like, I feel like the packaging of that, like growing the equipment, everything like that would be, like the growing the crops, everything like that would be fun and that type of stuff. But once you got to like certain aspects of doing it, it'd be like, okay, we don't really need to do all this work. You know what I mean?
Well, eventually you have to grow your operation, right? It can't just be you. Yeah, no, I definitely want to be part of it though, and not just the money person, if that was the scenario.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, but then you also got to think about this is you gotta split your time up between everything. There's some of these YouTubers that will go out and like sell what they make. What's it called? There is a farmer on YouTube that uses his YouTube to sell like his crops. He uses YouTube to kind of sell like what he produces, like any vegetables, tomatoes, and so on. He uses those, and it's kind of interesting.
It's smart.
It definitely is smart. So, I mean, it's
That's
all
all
the way.
That is the end of the questions. We would definitely are looking for more. And you know, if you left a question on this last episode, we answered it, and thank you so much. I will randomly go back to old videos as we need more questions. So if somebody left them on episode 1 and it wasn't answered in episode 2, it might pop in episode 3 or 4 or 5. You never know.
Exactly.
What happened to Happy is my question. You got quiet.
I'm still here. I just didn't have any input on that question.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Alrighty, so what's next segment? Oh,
Untold stories.
Untold
Yep.
stories. So, now we're getting to the fan favorite part is the untold stories. So, I'm gonna, I think we need to let Happy go first on the untold stories. So,
Okay,
Happy, what
I've
is...
been getting a lot of questions about how I met Nate and how I got to start recording with him. So I will go and talk about that. I'm gonna be honest. I was real lucky. I watched this first video with Squad, and I immediately went and watched his channel. I immediately joined his Discord, and he pinged his whole Discord and asked if anybody knew how to manage the Discord and make a new Discord server for him. So I reached out to him and told him I could do that. And I didn't even have to even do the Discord server. But I got in contact with him to a point. He reached out and asked me if I wanted to join him in recording. So I got really lucky, and that's how I got to where I am today.
So can I tell you the other half of that story?
Yeah, go for it. I probably missed a bunch.
No, there's another half to that story. The half of why I contacted you for that.
Okay.
I just didn't feel like doing that RP, like because we started back in the Millionaires Challenge.
Yes.
That's when you first started. I just didn't feel like doing that series anymore by myself. I just got lonely and bored doing it by myself. So I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can find somebody to add to this series.
Yeah.
that is the only reason I added you to that. I'm just letting you know. But I mean, it was no mistake doing that. That was kind of a short one. You got to have another one, man.
I don't. That's the only thing I could think of.
Bro, what's an untold story?
There's a lot of untold stories between us. So, where should I start? Nah, I'll keep this as short as I can be.
Extra content needed. Go ahead.
I said it was gonna be short, but you know it's not gonna be short.
I'm just making sure.
Alright, so I can easily say how I met Nate, but I've answered that on the stream. If you haven't checked out that stream, well, you might want to go back to Nate's first live stream back with me, Deer, Benny, I believe it was. It might have been CJ. And check that out, because I answered my part on how I met Nate. I will say this though, if y'all think Nate's been this confident behind the mic and stuff, he hasn't been this entire time. Trust me, y'all should have heard him the first time this man started actually getting on the mic and recording.
Don't even start with that. You know what? Like, I don't know, Chris, did you ever do that when you went back and watched one of your like old City of Skyline videos?
Hilariously enough, my most viewed video was like one of my like 6th or 7th videos ever uploaded. And if I do get down on myself, I'll go back and watch that video. And it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Because it's like how far I've come is insane. But at the same time, I watched that video and I'm like, man, if I recorded that today, it would have 200,000 views instead of 60,000, because I was talking like this the whole time. And I was super quiet and super calm and timid and wasn't confident in the research I did. And I just I hit all the topics of the video, and that's why it got so many views. It was basically how to save your save file if you lose some mods and how to recover them. And it was definitely a needed video in the entire City Skylines world, and that's why it got so many views. But the quality was terrible, and so I still to this day, every once in a while, will go back and watch that specific video and kind of laugh at myself and think about, like, my goodness, I was so uncomfortable.
Okay.
See, that was the part I was about to get to. Is from what y'all don't know about how Nate's journey really first started, because Nate doesn't have his original videos, I'll admit, on there.
No, I do not. Proudly, I do not.
Which is dumb.
No, I don't.
No.
I want to go back and watch them.
100,000 subscribers, I will re-release those original videos. 100,000
Yes,
subscribers.
please.
After I go back through and edit it to PG-13.
Yeah, because that part you will need to do.
That part I know for sure I'd have to redo. I'd have to re-get it to PG-13. So.
But from what I know in this man to go in GTA to where he sounded freaking super confident, to actually hear him go actually recording for people he doesn't know, I was shocked, honestly. I was like, man, this dude was meeting people randomly in a GTA server, RPing with as best as he could, the best roleplay I've ever actually met. That I've actually met, not talking about actually out there. But to hear him actually go super nervous behind the mic and stuff, then it's like, wow, okay. But to see him back to where he was and the Nate that I know, man, y'all, it's been a roller coaster. And I'll say that I've been happy and I am blessed to have met this man and seen how far this man has come.
Now, are you saying that just because you have a job right now, or?
Nope, I'm saying that as a guy that's met you from the first time I met you all the way to now.
No, I was just joking, man. I was just, I was pulling your leg. I was pulling your leg. Continue with your story, though.
Huh?
Your story?
I'll continue with it. I mean, there ain't really much.
He wants to hear.
Okay.
Nate wants to hear more about his success story.
Well, his success story continues still to this day. He ain't nowhere near done. The goal is to beat, or actually surpass Buck, and one day surpass Quad. And even after that, the goal is still going. There ain't no ending in sight for this man. And I know one day, Nate, along with Chris, along with Happy, along with whoever ends up joining us along for this journey, I know every single person will eventually reach the goal that they have set. I don't know what the actual full goal set is for everybody, but I know Nate has small goals that he's going for, and I know he'll accomplish them, just like how I know everybody else will.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not wrong there. I mean, Chris.
I mean, that's an interesting segment in itself, is talking about setting YouTube goals and if we've achieved them or not. I don't know if we want to get into that or if we want to save that for another episode.
Maybe closer to the end of this, but
Yeah.
Can we just talk about how bad these two are at telling stories about, you know what I mean, like untold stories?
I mean, technically, I could go to my story, but I'd rather have told the story of you. How
I told you in the beginning that I'm terrible at storytelling. What'd you expect?
Tell it. Okay, so we're gonna ask this then. We're gonna get this so we can get a story out of you somewhat. What is the story on how you actually got your YouTube channel name? Where'd you get it from? How did it occur? And what pushed you to first hit record and edit on your channel, Happy?
Okay, so way back in I think it was 2020, I was watching YouTube and I'm like, I wanted to try that. And I was big into NASCAR, and I'm like, I'll start a NASCAR channel. And my favorite driver was Kevin Harvick, and still is. And his nickname was Happy. So I created a channel called Happy Harvick. And I posted NASCAR videos as music videos, news videos, all that sort of stuff. And I needed a new channel because I was getting tired of that. So I decided to make a second channel, which was this farming simulator channel. And I am terrible with making names. So I'm like, I'll just take the name from the other channel, Happy. I'll just put it on this one, and I named it Happy Farms. And you don't know how many times I thought about changing it to something better, but I would always ask my community, and they thought it was good enough. So it was good enough.
So at what point are you just gonna say forget the community and just like completely do a rebranding of your entire channel?
I've thought about that. I thought about it just yesterday, but then one of my best friends came up to me today, and I talked to him about it. And he thinks that it's a good enough name, and if he thinks it's a good enough name, then I will keep it for as long as people still think it's a good name, I guess.
Yeah.
Nate doesn't think it's a good name, apparently.
Well, I mean, heck, Nate has been thinking about his own rebranding that he's been thinking of, so.
Yeah, but that
I don't have to think of that yet.
I'm about to say. I know for a fact the second channel is being rebranded, and that's being rebranded to Nate the Great. But after that, I think I'm gonna keep the main channel what it is for a while. Because I mean, you also gotta look at it like this. At the end of the day, the name is not what makes you.
Yeah.
The name does not make you as a YouTuber.
You make the name.
Exactly, you make the name. So if it don't matter if you're the worst YouTuber out there, I mean, you so at the end of the day will make your name. I mean, that's just the way I view it.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So,
So-
Brian, where did your name come from? The Holy
My
Knight.
name. Interesting enough, it came from. Hopefully, there's other people in this that's listening to this that can actually say that, hey, that name does sound familiar. He probably did get it from this, and they might be right. But if you ever seen the show, the anime called Seven Deadly Sins, then you know where immediately. But if you haven't seen it, well, in that anime, there's pretty much a kingdom and stuff, and they named some of their knights Holy Knights. And I don't know why that stuck to me early on, because that's one of my top animes in my list. So whenever we was talking about channel names and stuff, and whenever you and me were talking about actually starting up our own YouTube channels, and we were figuring out what to do with those channels, I was still trying to figure out my name and when I was even going to do mine, because obviously you've had your PC, I didn't have mine yet, so we knew one was going to start, one wasn't. So me having time to think of it, and I went back to watch that and I heard it, so I was like, you know what, why not give it a shot and we'll see how it goes.
Oh, you know what? I have a question actually for y'all. There was a comment on a video the other day. Not a video. It was in Discord. Because I was hanging out with like some of my Discord community for a little bit. Someone asked me a question, and I'm gonna ask all three of y'all this, because Chris, this is something good one for you. Do y'all feel like y'all live in my shadow?
Honestly, no.
Personally, I do not. I don't think that.
So you don't think that I'm like the main person here, that we all kind of treat it as an actual group, and everybody here is equals?
I mean, yeah, we were talking about names and stuff, and we all said what name we liked, which the name we came up with, can't really say it, but there's other names still being processed through us, and no one's saying, hey, this is our name, and that's what we're sticking with. You ain't like that, like some people would be in some groups.
There's a balance there that does happen. I agree with both of you. There's some timidness from me and Happy, from what I've experienced, of pulling the trigger and saying what we're gonna do, and so sometimes Nate might drive things a little bit more, but one of the things that I will say is when he comes up with an idea or wants to do an approach, before we start recording or before we finalize it, he makes sure we're okay with it. And I never have gotten the feeling of that he's just saying that to say it. I've always felt like he actually wants us to say, no, that's stupid, or I don't like that, it doesn't fit my storyline. I don't know. Happy, do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree 100%.
So I don't think it's a shadow thing. I think it's a head start thing, is the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Do y'all view like kind of like, even though like even like, because I mean I think everybody knows like I work with Grant during the day, the majority of the day, and then come back and work with y'all, like y'all don't view it as like, oh, he is the person that like we're basically in his shadows and we won't ever get past him, like that type of thing. Y'all view it as almost like a challenge to a degree, right?
Yeah,
100%.
it's a challenge. I'm gonna pass you in subs one day. I'm gonna be better than you. Yeah, that's the goal.
I plan on when my channel starts to catch up to you and pass you. So
Yeah.
Keep
challenge.
dreaming, lover boy. Keep dreaming.
hey, whenever it happens, don't be surprised, because I told you, and it's gonna be on this podcast. So
Yep.
on your channel.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then when you're living in the three of our shadows, we'll bring it back up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
then,
exactly.
then I'm retiring with the paycheck Grant gives me. All right. The day Happy passes me, no offense. That's the day I'm retiring, boys. That's the truth.
Nice.
It might be
hey,
by the
I'm
end of
gonna
the year.
I'm gonna beat you before both of them.
Oh.
So
That's
Is
a
that a
bold
challenge?
statement. That's a
Hey.
bold
Is that
statement,
a
brother.
challenge?
Hey. I would have
You're
said a
gonna-
bold statement.
You're gonna buy a bunch of bots that
Oh, he
create
definitely is.
YouTube accounts.
No, because why would I do that? That'd be taking the fun out of it.
So what I'm hearing is never giving Bri a shout out. Okay.
Yup.
Everybody.
That's what I heard.
Hey, everybody, go ahead and do me a favor. Go to Happy's channel and Happy and Chris's channel. Go ahead and hit the unsubscribe button, and then also while you're there, hit the dislike button. Here we go.
So,
Don't
Happy
do
even
that.
started
Don't
my
do that.
channel.
Don't do that. Don't do that to Happy and Chris. Don't do that to them.
No,
Go leave a
and
like.
like their videos.
Yeah, go
Right,
like
edit
and
that out.
How I'm going to.
Why? They know it's a joke.
Yeah.
They,
I hope.
they know it's a joke. They've never really done that. Like during streams or something like that, they know better than that.
Yeah. But hey,
Chris
We're
got
going
really
to.
concerned there for a second.
I mean, I don't blame him from what the conversation we had earlier was about a certain YouTuber.
Well, okay, here's the thing: is that has
True.
two different there's two different things. It
Yeah.
was a joke about like Grant didn't go say dislike that video or anything like that, and also Grant has a bigger dick than me. You know what I mean? He can tell his audience to do certain things.
You speaking from experience?
I don't know. Buck tells me it's pretty big. Okay, 'cause Lord knows Buck drives it too.
Alright. And that's not being in the video.
No. All right. What's the next segment? Well, do we tell a story, Chris?
If we felt like we needed to fill time, I would say yes, but I don't feel like we need to on this.
All right. What's the next?
What do we have left for segments?
I guess probably one more question from them, and then going on to the YouTube, how the YouTube algorithm is, everything like that, and how we felt about this last week.
Okay.
What's a good question?
I think we should go into that goals. I would like to know, because I do have goals for myself for the rest of this year. What are the goals that you set for yourself? Are they monthly? Are they quarterly? Are they annually? Do you not set goals?
My goals are pretty much yearly at this point. My main goal for this past year was actually to hit 1,000 subs by the time I graduated high school, and I was able to accomplish that. I actually overshot by 300 subscribers, which was really nice. But other goals I've set, I would like to hit 3,000 to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the year, which is really possible.
It is.
Really, I only set subscriber goals. I know I should set other goals, but I don't look into it as much as I should.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Right. I know you haven't started your channel yet, and you're going to soon. Are you thinking about that type of stuff, or are you just going to be focused on, I just need to get started making videos. I don't care about goals.
No, honestly, I think whenever you are starting a channel, I think you have to have goals set. If you don't, then you're just going in with your swing, and sometimes that can be good, sometimes it can't be. So it's better be prepped than not.
I don't know.
I
That's
can
kind
say
of the way
when-
we did it. That's kind of the way I did it first. When I first started, it was I went in swinging.
Yeah, and I know that from being on the journey with you. So I'm gonna set goals, and I'm just gonna take a goal day by day. Hey, get this recorded. All right, now I gotta make sure this gets edited. Put it out there. Enjoy the feedback. See how it is, and focus on the algorithm, and just keep going step by step. Don't rush it. Set small goals, and those small goals will reach to my bigger goals.
That's good. Nate, same question.
So, okay. Actually, I feel like Chris. I feel like Chris. You should go.
Oh, because we live in your shadow, you should go
Yeah,
last.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's fine. So I started this channel in February, and I did set goals for the year. I set goals every month. I set sub counts, viewership, and now I added revenue. I go very, 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 very conservative with my goals. I've hit all my goals for views and subscribers for the year already. I wanted to hit 1,000 in the first year, and we're at 1,200, pushing 1,300 here probably in the next week at the rate it's going. Views, I just hit 90,000 views in less than 3 months. And that's insane. It is beyond insane to me. When I sat down and set these goals, we're way beyond them. So I need to reevaluate that at this point and try to find what I feel like is realistic, but not to where I will hurt my own mindset, because that's why I set them conservatively, because I want them to be obtainable so that I don't feel the burnout. Because when I did them before and I never hit my goals, when I would do really aggressive ones, then I felt like a failure and I felt like I'm just wasting my time. So I do go small. Like, still my goals are like 50 subscribers a month, and I think it was 15,000 views in a month was what my goals were for May, and it was like May 10th I hit those. Any other questions on that, or do you want to jump into yours?
No. I'm gonna ask a couple of questions. No.
No, you can't.
I was about to say, let's hear your goals.
Okay, so my goals.
Yep.
Did Happy answer his goals?
Yeah, Happy went first. I
Yep.
went second. Chris went third.
Alright,
The big
so
shadow that we got to overcome.
I know, right? Oh, just a big one. So, of course, like everyone can see, I'm growing at a rapid rate. So, my thing is to keep growing at this rate. I go by summer, almost like different times of the year. So, like, my goal by the end of the summer is to be over 10,000 subscribers by the end of the summer. Definitely revenue goals is something I definitely try to work towards every month. With having editors, that's kind of needed, because you got to make sure you can afford to pay the employees before you have to take them out back in some of the way of Lassie. But for the people who get that joke, you get that joke. But yeah, no, revenue goals, but I don't know, maybe possibly, do better than each and every month. That'd be the biggest goal. Like, do a minimum of 10,000, or like do a minimum for like views wise. Like, I want to do 10,000 more views than I did last month. Subscribers wise, I want to do 100 more subscribers than I did last month. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I left out a big goal of mine to let you finish though.
Yeah. Now, like, of
Sorry.
course, I do have like a goal set for the end of the year. End of the year goal, 1,000%. I want to be a minimum 500,000. Not 500. Got it.
Ooh.
I was gonna say.
By the end of the year, I want to be at 50,000 subscribers.
That's doable.
I definitely think.
is.
Well, according to Social Blade, I'll hit that. I'll hit that in November.
Wow.
But you also got to think about this. According to Social Blade, I'll hit 10,000 subscribers in 30 days. So
It's doable.
It is doable.
It's doable. It definitely is doable, and I just want to kind of see how it goes before I can confirm and say yes or no. That's going to happen. It's definitely going to be interesting to see if it holds up like that, and I can manage to do that or not. But Chris,
Those are big goals. Yeah, so the biggest goal that I think all of us kind of glossed over, and I assume we all have it, is every video gets better, and there's no perfecting at this point for me. It's always try to get better, always try to improve, whether it's my delivery, whether it's editing, whether it's ideas, whether it's angles of or what you're recording, because some of that's important too, is keeping people's attention. And that's something that I try to focus on, is was there an aspect of this video that was better than my last ones and is the best? And should you release videos that you don't feel are better than ones that you've already done? Is kind of another debate you could have internally as well.
I will say this real fast. One big thing that I think a whole lot of people, like bigger YouTubers, do wrong, and that's the reason some of those bigger YouTubers are failing right now, is they feel like at some point, like when they hit 1 million view video, they plateau. Like they you know what I mean? Like you see them recreate that video 30 times over, and you know what I mean? They want to recreate until they've saturated it so badly no one wants to watch it anymore. And then they're like, why is my channel dying? Like, this is what used to do really, really good, and they complain, and they just don't know what's going on. I do feel like that's a big thing, that there's no such thing, especially on YouTube, as perfecting anything. You should always be changing and adapting what you're doing to change and adapt with YouTube's current state. Because if you're not changing and adapting and you're not doing that and you're just recreating almost the same video 30 times over and you're just trying to perfect that video, if you realize some of those bigger YouTubers, we'll say this, Mr. Beast is the biggest person about this, and he's doing what I'm telling you about, doing what I'm saying right now, is if you realize he does not try to perfect his videos. He realizes he has a good video idea, he does it like 3 times, and then he moves on to a different type of idea. Because he wants to always be changing and adapting, doing different things to be able to get more views, everything like that, not sticking to the same ruts. Just because, say, family roleplay works now, don't mean we're always going to do family roleplay. I mean, there will sadly be a day, like even in the middle of its good thing, even in the middle of it, even in the middle of like the hype of family RP, we're still going to most likely quit doing it to keep it alive. Because I don't want to run something down like it's an old dog, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's definitely something that I do for. I don't know. What's y'all's opinion on that?
I think it's to jump to NASCAR. It's like watching the end of Jimmy Johnson's career was sad because he was dominant, and then he might have left a little early or a little late. Like looking at these series, if you start watching your view count start decreasing, is it time to kill that story off or that topic off? And I think that's something that we're going to pay attention to with Family RP.
That's kind of like what we were talking about at the beginning, like when you first joined, like we were sitting down trying to figure out how many episodes we wanted to go on for. Because we know how many episodes we got left.
We do.
I don't care if one of them hits 1 million views the next day. We know how many episodes we got left of Family RP.
Yep.
And that's always just the way we are, is we know this because we know that this is the best, that's the best way we're going to make the best content out of it. Because we don't want to beat it dead.
No, we do not.
Because there's only so far you can beat something for it. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, going back to Jimmy Johnson, a lot of the younger fans don't know how dominant he was because they saw him at the tail end of his career when he had that winless streak, and they don't know all the big accomplishments he had earlier in his career. So you really got to know when to stop something and kill it before you drag it on and hurt yourself.
Happy did Harvick wait too long to retire?
No.
This being his last year? You think it was the right call?
He's sitting 3rd in points right now. I think he's still doing good.
That's awesome. I haven't been paying attention much this year.
Honestly, the younger kids are only getting to watch Jimmy Johnson part-time this year, and that's it.
It's barely part-time, though. It's like less than part-time.
But they're just barely getting to see him, and they're not even seeing him in the number that most of us got to watch him in and dominate in. So
right.
And to catch a tail end of something that's on its downfall, well, that ain't gonna be good. You want to catch something at its peak.
Yep.
So okay.
The build up.
So this may only apply to me and Brian, but I think this is still a fair question. Brian, you remember when we were back in the CLRP days, which is the name of our old GTA 5 RP server. Do you think that it ended at the perfect time? That everything that we weren't going to get November better than that?
Honestly, yeah. I think we reached our peak and we stopped and
we were on a downfall
at the right time. Yeah.
I think at that point we were starting to slowly see a downfall and that type of stuff, and we were almost done. So we knew. I mean, and even though we didn't like it, and we tried to stop it the best we could because we were younger. But I'm almost glad we didn't stop it, and we aren't kind of doing that to this day. Could you imagine, Rocket shit? Could you imagine going to RP every single night on top of recording?
Oh God, no. Because I mean, honestly, if we still were doing that, I don't think we would be recording the content we are now, and I don't think we would be where we are at right now. Because I mean,
when I did GTA 5M, it almost felt like a second full-time job. Like there's a real economy, and you have to keep up with that. Otherwise, you lose your cars in the servers I was in, and It was awesome. It was fun, but I couldn't do it long term like some of these YouTubers and Twitch guys do.
Now, see, I'll say this. Now this was the other added part that Bra didn't really mention. We were the server owners, so on top of everything else, we also had to deal with like maintenance of the servers, like maintaining like the server happiness, everything like that. So there was a lot of other issues we had to deal with on top of it.
Yeah, no way.
Yep. And to meetings, to trying to make sure people that was there was able to recruit, and trying to make sure people wasn't breaking the rules and having rules and stuff. There was a lot that went into it that, yeah, like Chris said, it was like a second job.
Yeah, it really was. The amount of fights I had to break up was ridiculous. It was unreal. Now that's something I will say, and don't get me wrong, I will say I did enjoy GTA 5 RP, but it is definitely the most toxic community out there.
It is.
I got to give it to that community. That is a toxic community.
It's sad.
But I think we're getting on into the final ending of it, boys. I think we need to talk about YouTube and changes that it made this week and how we felt that the views were this last week. Chris, would you like to start with your views?
Yeah, I mean, mine is it's started to see I don't want to say a plateau, but it's starting to hit a spot of I was getting a lot of really high climbs and really low lows, and the low lows are starting to increase. For example, it was the low days would drop down to like 150 views over my entire channel, to where the last 2 weeks or so it's gone to that low spot is around 700 views on the whole channel, and those are days I don't post videos. I don't, like last week we kind of talked about having a day where it seemed like all of us were affected negatively. I didn't feel that this week, me personally, but I don't post videos every day. I didn't post a video on Monday this last week. Yeah, I honestly, like I'm at a very exciting time.
Hello,
on my channel.
insiders.
It's
We're
growing. Like I said during the talking about goals, it's way above my expectations at this point. Everything's like a bonus at this point for the rest of the year. So yeah, I'm happy. I mean, I'm Chris, but I'm happy with my channel.
Yeah, I figured.
My channel this week, I haven't been able to post many videos this week because I built my new PC and I am still getting stuff switched over. But the couple videos I did upload have been doing really well. I uploaded one video and within 24 hours it had 1,000 views, which is like 10 times better than any of the other videos. Because my videos usually plateaued at about 500-600 views, and then that video got 1,000 views in 24 hours. So this week, YouTube algorithm has been on my side for some reason.
Well, I mean, I think some of that has to do with, I don't know, do y'all pay attention to the Creator Insider channel? Because
Not really.
Okay, that channel is made by YouTube itself, and so
I do and don't.
every like Tuesday and Wednesday they kind of post something. Well, I don't know, you may have not watched it then. They posted something today in explaining the algorithm finally. They did something kind of explaining how the algorithm works a little bit better to understand it as a content creator. And it kind of now makes a little bit more sense. Nowhere to where it should be, but it makes more sense than when it did. And I even saw that this week where I can kind of go through the views of my week and tell y'all kind of what I did. Hold up. So let me hit this last 7 days. So my lowest day this week, I had over 5,000 views in one day. That was my lowest day. The rest of them, I usually got up to about 7 to 8. Then I had a 9. I had one day that was a 9, which was interesting that day. So yeah. Huh. Hold up, give me a second, sorry. Y'all still there?
Yep.
Sorry. pulling yours up, Chris?
I can, yeah. If you want us to go that deep into it, yeah, I can do that.
Not too deep. Like, you don't have to say your exact numbers or anything. But okay, so yeah, I can explain like this. So I had. So okay, like this last week, I think YouTube did positively affect me in certain ways. So I had this. What YouTube says, I had the same as normal on the past 7 days of content. Time wise, I had 20% more time watched. So 20% more, or 20% of the people watched more of the videos that went out, and then I had 14% more subscribers within the last 7 days. So that means more people decided to hit that subscribe button, which you should do right now, by the way. And don't forget to use that G-Port link down in the description below. And yeah, Chris, what about yours?
Yeah, let's take a peek. So views are up 26% in the last 7 days. Watch time's 36. Subscribers is 34%, and estimated revenue is 999% higher. I didn't have revenue 7 days ago.
I was about to say it would. Oh, a penny would have been 999.
Penny was, yes.
999% would have been that much more.
Yeah, and so back to kind of goals. One of my rough goals that I don't write down was a constant growth of 10%. And looking at those numbers over 7 days right now, I'm outpacing that by, I'm at around 30% growth instead of 10. So that's beyond happy times right there.
You said 7 days or 28?
That's 7 days. On 28 days, growth is
999.
You don't even want. I mean, it's good. It's the view growth is 230%. Watch time's 102, and subscribers is 287%.
Oh, okay. We're going everything else. So my last 28 days is 151% growth on views, 126% on watch time, and 98% on subscribers. So like, if you're going by month or something like that, yeah, we're definitely, as long as we're continuously hitting those kind of numbers, would be nice.
Yeah, if I grow by 287% subscribers at month by month, I'll be retiring soon.
Yeah.
Could you imagine next month? Could you imagine like next month you're just up there with me? That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be insane.
Yeah, but definitely. I mean, Chris, Happy, is there anything you'd like to say about the way you feel like the YouTube algorithm kind of impacted you this last week?
Let me see here. So, views-wise, in the past week, again, I haven't posted very much. They've been down 10% in the last 7 days. I have got 5,800 views in the last 7 days. My watch time, it's about the same, 340 watch hours. Subscribers, last 7 days, 30% less. 41 in the last 7 days, and my revenue in the last 7 days is
I don't want to know that.
56% less. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying the actual revenue.
I was about to say we don't really need to hear what's revenue.
No, I'm not hearing that. No, I'm not saying that.
Editor Bri even edit out when he says revenue, like increase or decrease. Okay. All right. Yeah, we can all say. Now that Chris knows that video exists, I can already imagine the time we get done with recording this, I know what video he's watching.
What video am I watching?
The algorithm one.
Oh, based on the numbers I'm seeing, I'm just doing.
But you also got that new series hype on that a little bit too. It's not.
Oh, for sure.
It's never terrible. Like that. That's the bad part about this is. If you could start a new series every single week, trust me, we would.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Like, start a new series every single week, don't have to worry about it, that'd be great. But, yeah. But I don't know about y'all, but I think we've kind of accomplished what we need to accomplish today. And ladies and gentlemen, if y'all like the podcast, please leave a like, subscribe, do what you do best, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, our normal content will be back to normal tomorrow. And next week's podcast will be on Chris's channel. Links down in the description below for all the lovely people in here. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you next time. Peace!
Peace.
Dumbass! Alt tab. Hit.